Ajahn was saying that at the beginning, any kind of kusala is useful for.
Yeah, it's useful in and of itself. It's useful, but not with the idea of doing it. For the case to say that dana is useful, because without dana, giving away things, they cannot be giving away the idea of self. Is different from saying that do dana so that there can be understanding, or
on the other hand, when there is very very little panya, otherwise there would be no kusala at all.
right. So natural.
Yeah.
Right, natural. Kusala is there, to be appreciated. What's not to be appreciated is the idea that doing kusala leads to panya.
Yeah.
So life is useless when there's no kusala. It's gone each moment without understanding.
And on another level, it's also useless to have kusala without panya, because it's still conditions rebirth.
But it can be conditioned unless there must be akusala instead.
It can be a condition only if there is a right understanding. Means different moments.
So there is kusala which is not panya yet, parami yet, but the kusala which is parami with panya.
Right, because without panya, the kusala is also liable to be taken for
Better
self.
Better than akusala.
But it's also liable to be taken for self. At that moment,
that's why kusala with right understanding is better than kusala without right understanding.
And that's why also in one sense it is the wrong path too, if it's development of kusala and development of samatha even to jhana. If there's no understanding of realities, actually it's said to be wrong path.
It brings about result as becoming arupa jhana, but still never get away from samsara.
I mean, there's the option of whether or not the jhana is taken for self or not. But it seems that in the development of samatha leading to jhana, it's likely to happen, given that it leads to certain results, and that result is liable to be taken for the goal.
It depends. It always is like the yoga or anything else. It all comes back to the accumulation of right understanding. If there's right understanding, no matter it's jhana or anything else, then no misunderstanding. So it depends on the understanding rather than the kind of citas or the situation.
And even the development of insight can be taken for something else.
At the moment of insight?
Well, there can be mistaking, I forget the name, but the insight can be for the reason I think that you mentioned, that some development and possibly attainment can be taken for having reached the path, for having reached the goal, and that sort of thing. What do they call the...
Now I'm thinking also about why in the Brahmajala, as I've heard, so many of the wrong paths have to do with practice, so particular practices.
Not
because
not to do with practices, but to do with wrong understanding. So wrong understanding of what the path is.
Right, and we're talking about people, experiences of people in different levels of attainment of jhanas, which are taken for as being the path.
being the path and being the goal.
No, because in normal lopa daily life, ordinary lopa, nobody's going to take that for the path, right? But once it becomes some form of practice, then it's very liable to be taken for being right.
Why
And
do you keep calling it the development of samatha some kind of practice? Because development of samatha is not a practice.
bhavana, you want to call that?
Bhavana is not practice, it's the development of understanding and calm. If it's samatha, it's not practice.
Okay, I wouldn't
So
use practice.
ideas of wrong understanding and wrong practice are not at the moments of calm, but at other moments when it's mistakenly understood.
And jhana development can be mistaken for being the path.
Can be so that when there's wrong understanding and wrong mistaking and siddhapata paramasa, then it's all wrong, but not the actual moments of jhana.
And that can be a motivation to continue the samatha practice, bhavana. That can be a motivation.
Can we say that samatha practice is wrong understanding, but samatha bhavana is the development of calmness? Because today is the meditation-centered practice.
Right, that's wrong practice. That's not samatha bhavana. What I'm saying is that even samatha bhavana, as in the Brahmajala Sutta states, is considered wrong path.
According to wrong understanding.
Right. So what I'm saying is that even though the samatha itself is not wrong, as in wrong practice, it is liable to be taken as the path.
Because of misunderstanding.
Because of misunderstanding.
But you then went on to say that because of misunderstanding, then they will practice samatha bhavana more, but no one practices samatha bhavana. There is no practice of samatha bhavana.
You mean to say?
So no one can have samatha bhavana developing or arising by will or wish or intention or trying.
Like now, no one can have seeing arise.
Exactly. So there's no practice of samatha bhavana. So when there are moments of wrong understanding and wrong practice, it's not the development of samatha. That's why Ajahn said you got samatha practice in inverted commas, but it's not samatha bhavana. So no one, because of wrong understanding, can develop samatha. So different moments, different ideas. Samatha is not any development by any wrong idea of self. But there can be wrong idea of self at other moments, but not at the moments of bhavana.
I'd like to clarify something here, Sarah. You seem to be saying it's wrong to use the word practice.
No.
When practice is used, it indicates the wrong understanding of self, who can do something, and actually in reality no one can do anything. So when there is the attempting to do something or trying to do something, like trying to have calm or trying to understand, it is wrong practice, like in the meditation centers. So that is not samatha bhavana at those times.
That's understood. Sometimes I wonder if we're being overly precious with the use of the word practice. Ultimately it comes from the Greek word praxi. I've spent quite a bit of time on this, which means to do, like having a practice, like perhaps a dental practice or anything. And I wonder sometimes if ultimately it comes down to the understanding, ultimately, surely.
That's what Sarah was saying.
That's not what hold it. That's not what I heard. Sorry. That's not what I heard. That's not what it seemed to me, so I prefer you to speak for yourself. That's not what I heard. So what I heard, okay.
But also Sarah is trying to point out to me that someone who develops jhana does not have the idea of practicing jhana.
No.
It comes to him naturally by conditions, and he's not saying that I want to practice. He cannot have jhana by wanting to have jhana.
In spite of moments of wrong view that can arise at different moments, like moments of wrong view of the idea of self or someone who can do anything, but not because of wrong view. The kusala doesn't develop, samatha doesn't develop. I think we're not precious enough about the use of practice. I think it's really important.
Real correct use of practice, it seems to me.
Yeah.
If it's just an English word to describe something that
It's done.
Well,
yes, but not
So
independent.
the term practice does appear in the teachings, of course, like in the phrase Intl.Dhamma paripada.
Well, that's,
But-
it can be translated in many different
Can-
ways,
yes.
and practice is one of them.
Yes,
Because it
but I
means
don't
doing.
think it appears in the context of samatha practice and vipassana practice in the teachings. It means the actual having of understanding when it's used in the teachings. It means the actual arising of insight or understanding when it's used in the teachings.
Yes. It seems to be a kind of a translation for different words. I've seen it used in different contexts. Like patipatti is sometimes translated as practice. But we know
In what language?
in English,
In Thai to practice for patipatti, but actually it does mean practice.
but
In Thai, we use the word patibat for the patipatti, but it doesn't mean practice. Patipatti doesn't mean practice, but patibat is practicing. Wrong understanding of patipatti.
it's true. So what you seem to be saying here, Ajahn, it comes down to the understanding, not the use. It's not, things don't hinge upon the use of a certain word or not. They hinge upon the understanding, not the use of
Also, no, I think the word is also important. For example, if we distinguish between the word practice and development, development can be referred to moments of the actual arising of kusala with panya, right? Whereas practice often is used to refers to doing something regardless of whether at that moment is kusala or akusala, right? With the idea that it's going to lead to kusala or panya.
If somebody is has the accumulations for samatha bhavana,
Means the development of calmness,
the development of
or just to
calmness.
practice with the idea of self.
No, the real development of calmness. Like
Mhm.
that is not someone that we would see in the street. It's not like I imagine someone who has a high degree of samatha bhavana.
So what is really samatha bhavana? It can be metta.
It can be metta. It's
Yeah,
not okay.
yeah.
So because I was thinking maybe it's someone who has the,
you're referring to someone who's
Even metta
someone-
can be
yes,
jhana.
Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
I do have the wrong. Yeah,
Because that
That's
high
a-
degree of samatha must have a beginning, must have a
yes,
low degree.
Yes,
So it's not just...
I didn't realise metta came into that as well. So that's
I mean, Sariputta,
What about
while he
reflection
was
on
fanning
death?
the Buddha,
reflection on death.
Sariputta went in and out of jhana while fanning the Buddha. So for someone who's
In and out of jhana.
for someone who's developed already, it can be anywhere, anytime.
But as soon as there's any idea of practice or doing, and that's why, as Sujan said, even in the Thai, it's wrong when people talk about patipatti as practice or doing, because it's not what patipatti is. And the same with samatha bhavana. If there's any idea of practicing samatha, it's not correct. It's not just a matter of the word or how one understands the word. Actually, why would that one use that word if there isn't some idea of doing something? So that's why I picked Sukin up on it. I don't think we're precious enough about it. I think it's really important to pick it up because that idea of doing something is so prevalent. Like usually, as John said, most Thai people, they talk about patipati and they have the idea of doing something, following something, practicing. That's why they use that word, their word. So it's just the same in Thai language, same problem.
Is samatha bhavana difficult?
I'd say yes.
Very difficult.
Because ordinary in daily life, kusala arises, but not with panya.
And why does one develop samatha?
I'd say accumulations. Someone would develop because of accumulations in the past.
Because seeing the danger of lopa.
And developing vipassana or right understanding is because of seeing the danger of avijja. It's not just wanting to do it.
So in a way, you were right. You wouldn't see him on the road because if someone has such high level of panya to see the danger of lopa, he would probably be living alone in the forest, But we don't know.
So samatha bhavana cannot develop without panya at all.
Well, it's what I'm hearing is that it seems that most kusala cannot develop really without some degree of panya. I mean,
Develop means with panya.
cannot.
Develop means must be with panya.
Yeah,
Either samatha,
or vipassana, or dana.
Dana developed. We don't talk about dana being developed.
No,
We're talking about
but
dana as barami. So
Just to clarify, we distinguish between accumulate further and develop. So when we use the word development in the teachings, it means that it's with understanding, whereas if it arises without understanding, it accumulates. So there's no obstacle to all kinds of kusala accumulating further.
But you're not excluding development with panya from that accumulates as well.
Oh, yes, that also accumulates.
What about chaganusati?
what's
Chaganusati, development of calm, of giving, of generosity.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Sorry. Yeah. What was the context of that remark?
Because
No, I just said that I don't know.
about any development of generosity, but I'm just saying can be development of calm with generosity as the object.
Jhana object? No, it's the jhana object. No.
Chaga.
But
Chaga.
it's not to the level of jhana. Or is it?
I think it would be because it needs contemplation or reflection. So I don't think so, but I forget. But also, it doesn't really matter because in the development of samatha, upachara is very close to appana, very close. So whereas in the development of vipassana, it's not close. Like at moments of vipassana jnana, it's upachara samadhi.
And also it's not important because it's always good to have more kusala. More, why not?
If it depends on reflection, contemplation, then it's not jhana object.
Jaga.
Jaga. Is this correct? Because if there is not the more and more generosity, there cannot be reflection on chaga or the nature of generosity.
And it depends on the motivation of giving away too. When it's dana, real dana, it is jaka.
It seems you have to have a lot to give away before you can reach China to be Bill Gates.
How is that chaga spelled?
J,
So,
J is jaka.
C.
C, yes,
C.
C.
so what's chaga raga? Is there any such thing?
Name of the song.
Chandaraga, Chandaraga.
Chandaraga. I remember seeing the word chaga.
Jaka.
Chaga.
Ja. C. Jaka. Jaka.
Chaga.
I'm thinking karma.
Yeah.
And if one gives away a lot and one thinks about one's giving away a lot, is that samatha bhavana? Not at all.
Usually it's a lot of attachment. But occasionally there can be reflection on giving, and at that moment of giving away, it is calm, the citta is calm, so there can be reflection on it for a moment before there is all
Just
that.
like any kusla, seeing
Any-
the value of kusla.
That's why all kinds of bhavana must be with understanding. Higher degree.
So generosity can be developed with understanding.
One thing I read or heard, maybe you were talking about generosity, and we're talking about giving things away, and you made the comment, can we respect the receiver? Can you talk a little bit more on that? When we're giving something, can we respect the person we're giving to?
When you receive something, you do good because of the other's giving. Because you know or understand the moment when they give is kusala.
I understand having respect for the person to give to, as in giving to what you know he needs, not just giving something away without just because you want to give, because that person will find it useful.
You mean give with respect?
Yes. I probably mean give with respect, yes. To respect the receiver.
Better than not respect.
Yes, and also, as Sukhin just said, giving useful things. I mean, I feel like when you give discarded clothes, I don't want to wear this anymore, you give it to someone, that's not really, doesn't seem like a very pure type of giving.
Can we give respectfully?
Yes,
Better
anything.
than just
you can
give.
give anything. Yeah, okay.
It's mean more kusala, very, very subtle at moment of giving. And Panya knows that. So Panya will lead to all kinds of kusala or any kind of deeds.
So, the same value in the object, you give a beggar and you give robes to an arahat, definitely you have more respect for the arahat. So that's showing the respect.
And the receiver can receive respectfully too.
Vincent, any paying attention to any object?
Naturally, paying attention to the space.
To the what? Can you use the microphone?
So when you were asking the question, the few moments before the question, there was attention on the symmetricity of the body, right? Or can feel some tension inside, and I will try to lift up the body. I don't know what exactly you were asking now.
Because earlier you were talking about when you pay attention to the vibrations in the hand,
Right.
and when I just looked, you looked like your eyes were closed or something.
Right,
so I'm
right,
just
right.
asking, is there any paying attention? Because as soon as there is the idea of paying attention to something in that way, it's not understanding. It's like an idea of practice or doing something, however subtly. Like Anne said in her comment, even when one's heard quite a lot about understanding about realities, there can still be those more subtle kinds of practice or attending. Right. So that's why it was like a reminder.
Yes, thank you. It's mixed. Because it's accumulated, so it happens. So it doesn't mean I try to catch or select the object, but when it automatically direct over there, and then a few moments after, there's a tendency want to continue to have the attention stay there. But at the beginning, it's just naturally go there. But I'm not trying to stop it, right? When it's go there, it's go there. And compared to, well, there would be attention to the sound. When Sarah asked you the question, the sound, thinking about Sarah, thinking about the words, all that needs attention, right? Without attention, there wouldn't be this communication, right, between the two of you. So between the attention to all that and the attention to what you just described, is that one more preferable to the other, or more valuable than the other, or? Not really. Maybe I didn't notice, but it just. But it's there. Now you understand that attention is there all the time. It's one of the universal cetasikas. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's the attention now?
Yeah.
By itself, by conditions.
Right, by condition, right.
At every moment.
Yes. Right. But here we mean manasikara, right? Yes.
Right.
Right.
So never I am attending. So
right.
When there's the idea of I'm attending to this or that, it's not understanding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Conditioned by attachment and idea of I can do.
Right.
Okay, I think we can pause now. The golf cart is picking us up outside here at 12:10. So we have 15 minutes for whatever we need to do, and then 15 minutes before we go off to lunch.
Okay.
And this afternoon, Ajahn, is 3 o'clock.
Okay.
3 o'clock
Yeah.
for the discussion this afternoon. Thank you for coming back. So many good points to discuss. Sorry? Oh, the other side. Not these ones.
And also, there's a bottle of water, big bottle of water outside. Take one. Your yes.
And you know, Sarah, Vincent said not trying to stop this, what he accumulated for so long. not trying to stop it.
No, but still there is that deep-rooted idea of attending, or I can attend. Yeah.
That's a good point. Maybe we should discuss that more.
Yeah.
A bit long on jhana and so.
Sorry?
A bit long on jhana for me. I was so sleepy.
Just different dhammas. But it's good to understand because people have wrong ideas.
Yeah.
They have the idea that, the people practicing samatha
Yeah, that's true.
or selecting which kind.
Selecting.
Like I tell later I refer to something I remember, or this like you and Robert used to say all the